So the first few blocks that I made, I used the regular running stitch seam. And, the thing that I noticed the most about that is it's a line, but you can't really see the thread. Now I'm doing one similar to paper piecing that in a more freestyle called fold and stitch, and that's when you kind of fold the fabric, because a seam is a fold, and then you fold the piece that you want to put there. And then you put right sides together. In this case, I'm using 2 strands of a very contrasting thread to make a point. Of course, I should knot it, that would help. And you just do a tiny overcast stitch. I've shown this many times. This is just like paper piecing when you fold things around a template and put right sides together and whip stitch them, or whatever you want to call it. In this case, I'm just doing it on the fly, so wherever I want a seam, I'll just fold the 2 pieces where I want them to be seamed and put them together. And again, it's the same kind of thing when you do the running stitch, except the great part about this is these pieces don't need basting because they stay put. And the other thing I love is that you can more or less see the seam. Now you can't, maybe it's not that obvious here, but the stitches do show when you do this kind of sewing. So you can take advantage of that, and I like that it honors the seam. And I really like how you can sort of free-form patch like this. So I'm going to do this one with this kind of seam, and then we'll look at the third kind of seam, which is a lapped seam, or what a lot of people might call these days a Boro style seam. Actually, I should do them all the same with 3 different kinds of seams so you can compare them, but you get the idea anyway. So now I'll come back and fold this and find another piece to fit there. Okay, you can see now, because I used lighter colored fabrics, you see how the line of the stitch has become more prominent. And, seams are, they're really 2 things. They are functional to hold the fabric together, and they're also a design element because they are a line. So by sewing this way, you avoid the basting. You make the line more prominent. And you can see even, you can use all different color threads, which right now is really handy because I have this basket of thread ends. So the line can actually have different colors. So there's a lot to do with this, So you just have 2 different types of piecing. This one kind of a little short, so I'm probably going to have to patch a little piece in there. And I'll probably use the the fold method to do that. I'm going to continue with lighter fabrics here because I want the lines to show. If I use dark fabrics, maybe I would use a white thread in there or light colored thread. That would give me another kind of line. And I'm working in a basket. I don't have a lot of light colored fabrics, but one thing I always wanted to mention is you can work with prints and you can turn them over and you get, you know, kind of a lighter fabric, so, you know, that works too. So I think I'll put this one here. So at the last minute I decided to go back and use just the regular straight seam here to repair this corner. And the reason for that is I wanted to basically make this mend less noticeable. I mean, in some cases I might want to focus on the mend, but in this case I wanted it to look more like a 9 patch and not make that so obvious. So what you see here now is I used white thread and the other kind of seam, and you know, these decisions can be made. You don't have to use one kind of seam. You can use the kind of seam that you either need to hold it together or that you prefer visually. And there you have it, a fold and stitched log cabin block. In this case, I used the motif from an old ikat woven fabric just to hold it there because I love it so much.